A cruel mafia boss, Tae-young was very ambitious to become the sole ruler of South Korea. To achieve his ambition, he would expand the distribution of narcotics and build a luxury casino called Siesta. Lately, Tae-young often visited a psychiatrist, Choi, to consult about his mental problems. He felt there was something wrong with him. After the consultation, Choi said that Tae-young probably has a multiple personality disorder, which made him difficult to run his businesses. He asked Dr. Choi to help him, and before the therapy started, Dr. Choi asked Tae-young to tell him about his past. Dr. Choi said that multiple personalities can happen because of a trauma in the past, so he needed more information about Tae-young's past. Tae-young said that he had a grudge against a man who killed his girlfriend, but he couldn't find him till now. In the middle of their conversation, suddenly a beautiful woman came over. She's a nurse named Yu-hwa, who had worked at the clinic for a long time. Later, she would help Tae-young during the treatment. Yu-hwa left, then Dr. Choi started the therapy. Because this was quite a serious problem, Dr. Choi had to use the hypnosis method so that Tae-young fell asleep, entered his subconscious. Tae-young then remembered the past when he was meeting his business partner to discuss plans for building a casino. Not long after, a mysterious man came and shot them. Finished hypnotizing Tae-young, Dr. Choi woke him up, but it was Tae-young's alter ego. Tae-young's alternate self was full of regret and had unstable emotions, especially when he remembered his girlfriend's death. Tae-young often blamed himself for his girlfriend's death. Because of this deep trauma, he was so stressed, making him want to end his own life. Luckily, Dr. Choi could calm him down. Apart from being traumatized by his girlfriend's death, Tae-young also had one memory that always haunted him. 1 year ago, he was involved in an accident with a reporter named Min-ho. At that time, Min-ho was investigating Tae-young's illegal business, but in the middle of the investigation, Min-ho was caught, making the situation chaotic. Because of the accident, Tae-young suffered minor injuries, but Min-ho suffered serious injuries, and his entire body had to be wrapped in bandages. When Tae-young had recovered, he intended to kill Min-ho, so that no one else would disturb his business. 6 years later, Tae-young finally recovered from his multiple personality disorder. Since being treated by Dr. Choi, he has never again experienced switching between alters. Not only that, he was also increasingly successful as a mafia because his new casino had become the biggest gambling center in South Korea. Even so, Tae-young had to continue his recovery process so that his personality disorder didn't relapse. That's why Tae-young still often sees Dr. Choi. After consulting with the doctor, Tae-young met his business partner, Won-jun. He's a famous mafia and investor in Tae-young's casino. But Won-jun was secretly working with another imposter to seize Tae-young's casino. At that time, Won-jun had become the largest shareholder, which means that the casino belonged to him. Tae-young could only be furious knowing his power was taken by someone else, while another man was wearing a mask due to his damaged face. Turns out, this man was Min-ho. After the incident 6 years ago, he had a grudge against Tae-young, and he finally switched profession as a mafia, so he could take revenge. Surprisingly, he was able to become rich quickly, and with the money he had, he decided to operate on his face to be similar to Tae-young. He planned to take over all aspects of Tae-young's life. The next morning, Tae-young visited Dr. Choi's clinic to undergo the post-therapy treatment. There he met Min-ho, who became a patient, even though Min-ho only wanted to imitate Tae-young's life. Min-ho also admitted that he had the same name as Tae-young. Meanwhile, Tae-young didn't recognize Min-ho at all, because when he wanted to kill Min-ho at the hospital, he didn't know his name and face. On the other hand, Tae-young's men were collecting debts, because they were trying to collect money so they could buy their casino again. Not long after, Min-ho's lawyer came, saying that his client was interested in helping Tae-young by becoming a new investor. The next day, the lawyer visited Min-ho's house, giving Min-ho a recording of Tae-young during his therapy. Apparently, he got this classified document from Dr. Choi. Not only that, the lawyer has also installed a tapping device on Yu-hwa's cell phone, because this woman has become Tae-young's girlfriend. Min-ho did all this so he could imitate Tae-young's habits. Besides, he also wanted to take Yoo-woo from Tae-young. That night, Yoo-woo stayed at Tae-young's apartment. She tried to calm her boyfriend down, so he didn't overthink about the fight over the casino. At the same time, Min-ho was looking at Yoo-woo's photo, imagining her. In the next morning, Tae-young met Min-ho at his house to talk about the investment in his casino. Of course, Tae-young was quite shocked when he found out that the potential investor was the man he met at the clinic, but he didn't want to think too much about it. In this meeting, Min-ho admitted that he was very interested in getting into the gambling business. To discuss further about the investment, Min-ho invited Tae-young to dinner together. After meeting Min-ho, Tae-young attended Won-jun's daughter's birthday party. At the event, Won-jun offered Tae-young to manage the casino together, but with different shares. Won-jun also admitted that he had found the tattooed man Tae-young was looking for, but he wouldn't tell before Tae-young accepted his offer. Returning from the party, Tae-young invited Yoo-woo to have dinner with Min-ho. At first, the dinner went well, but then Min-ho's girlfriend came, wearing the exact same red dress as Yoo-woo. Seeing this, Tae-young couldn't control his anger, because he felt that Min-ho was imitating him. But Min-ho casually said that this was just a coincidence, so he asked Tae-young to calm down. Tae-young's anger subsided, so they went back to discussing their business. Min-ho promised to become the new investor, helping Tae-young to take his casino back, but Tae-young had to help Min-ho get rid of Won-jun. Even though Tae-young was suspicious of Min-ho's intentions, he had no other choice because he wanted to take his luxury casino back. After dinner, Min-ho invited his girlfriend to stay at the hotel. Then they made love while watching the video of Tae-young and Yoo-woo. It seems that Min-ho's grudge has turned into an obsession, making him want to become like Tae-young. The next day, Min-ho went to Yoo-woo's house. At first, Yoo-woo was startled by his sudden presence, but as a good host, she still let him in, especially since Min-ho was her boyfriend's business partner and also a patient at her workplace. Min-ho randomly told Yoo-woo that he had experienced an accident, causing his face to be damaged. The accident also caused his best friend to die, so he still holds a grudge against the person who caused his friend to die. After hearing the story, Yoo-woo felt sorry for Min-ho and promised to help him recover. Hearing that, Min-ho was happy, feeling that he had succeeded in making Yoo-woo sympathize with him. After that, Min-ho asked Yoo-woo to remove his mask. When the mask was removed, Yoo-woo still couldn't see Min-ho's real face because it was still covered with silicone. Yoo-woo didn't suspect at all that Min-ho had operated on his face to look like Tae-young. From Yoo-woo's house, Min-ho met Dr. Choi at the casino. Min-ho gave Dr. Choi dozens of gambling chips worth 100 million won, so that he would give Min-ho all the recordings of Tae-young while doing therapy. On the other hand, Tae-young was at the car wash, but when he wanted to wash his car, he was attacked by a group of gangsters. Tae-young suspected that those people were ordered by Won-jun. The next day, Tae-young met Min-ho, undergoing the process of the casino buying hurriedly. This time, Tae-young finally saw Min-ho without his mask. However, because the operation wasn't finished yet, Tae-young didn't have any suspicions. Tae-young handed over the keys to his apartment as a guarantee. He also promised to help Min-ho get rid of Won-jun, as long as he could take over the casino again. Without wasting any time, they both went straight to Won-jun's place, and they pretended to be police officers who were carrying out an inspection. Min-ho recorded the illegal business in that place, which would later be sent to the police as evidence. Unluckily, Tae-young was caught by Won-jun's men, so like it or not, they were involved in a fight. Unfortunately, after finishing them off, Tae-young couldn't find Won-jun, so they decided to burn down the place. Not long after, the police came to arrest the drug dealers. After that incident, Min-ho promised that he would immediately order his lawyer to complete the purchase of casino shares, because sooner or later, Won-jun would definitely give up on Tae-young. Few days later, Min-ho came to the clinic and pretended to be sick, intending to approach Yoo-woo. As a nurse, Yoo-woo had to take care of her patient professionally, although Tae-young would definitely be angry if he saw their closeness. After the therapy, Min-ho went home to his new apartment, where Tae-young lived before. There he found a secret room, and there were Tae-young's belongings inside there. It seemed like Tae-young had forgotten to move them. Then, Min-ho watched an old recording when Tae-young was mixing drugs. Min-ho remembered his past when he was investigating Tae-young's illegal business, which caused him in an accident. Not long after, he went to a tattoo shop to get the same tattoo as Tae-young's. On the same day, Min-ho also underwent the final stage of his facial surgery, and shortly, he finally removed all the silicone covering his face. After that, he decided to return to being a reporter with his new face, which was very similar to Tae-young. He then went to a press conference, where the police were targeting Won-jun. At this event, Min-ho boldly said that he would arrest the mafia as well as the other kingpin. On the other hand, Tae-young got important information from one of his business partners, telling him that Min-ho has collaborated with the Russian mafia to destroy Won-jun's business. Hearing this, Tae-young became suspicious that Min-ho was planning something behind his back. Tae-young came to see Dr. Choi, telling him that Min-ho was always imitating his style. Dr. Choi said that kind of person had a mental illness, which based on research, this was difficult to cure. That night, Tae-young invited Yoo-wha and Dr. Choi to have dinner at the casino, but he didn't expect that Min-ho would also be there. Of course, Tae-young was really shocked because Min-ho had already removed his mask and had the same face as him. Tae-young was furious, but at the same time, Dr. Choi asked him to stay calm. Suddenly, Tae-young got a call from Won-jun, asking him for help. Won-jun also said that he had never sent gangsters to attack Tae-young. He revealed that the gangster was a Russian mafia henchman who was working with Min-ho. So, Won-jun wanted to ask Tae-young to cooperate, and in return, he would tell Tae-young the identity of the owner of the tattoo he had been looking for. Hearing this, Tae-young was willing to help Won-jun. On the other hand, Min-ho met with a senior reporter whom he respected very much. Min-ho immediately invited his senior to reveal the mafia's crime and to give a lesson to Tae-young. Min-ho went to the casino to start his revenge plan. From a distance, he saw Tae-young walking towards the toilet with an anxious face. Min-ho followed him and gave him chewing gum, so that Tae-young would feel relaxed. Unexpectedly, Tae-young just accepted it, because he thought that Min-ho had no evil intentions, even though the gum had been mixed with drugs. After Tae-young collapsed and was helpless, Min-ho intended to steal Tae-young's identity so he could trick a lot of people. Min-ho got into Tae-young's car, while he put Tae-young in his car. Finally, Min-ho's plan went smoothly. Even Yoo-wha believed that the man with her was Tae-young, her boyfriend. But on the way, there were cars from the side that stopped them. Apparently, they were Won-jun and his men. Here, Won-jun actually wanted to kill Min-ho, but he shot the wrong person. Won-jun thought that Min-ho was the real Tae-young, and after that, Won-jun urged him to immediately find the Russian mafia who had destroyed his business. As a guarantee, Won-jun took Yoo-wha as a hostage, and since this incident, people considered Min-ho as Tae-young. 3 months later, Min-ho lived with his new identity, but on the other hand, he was still thinking of ways to save Yoo-wha, because she shouldn't need to be involved in this problem. It was impossible for Min-ho to tell Won-jun about the Russian mafia he was looking for because the mafia was his business partner. Not long after, Min-ho's man told him that there was a man who wanted to meet him, and he was Tae-young. Turns out, Tae-young was still alive because he was saved by Min-ho's senior. Finding this out, Min-ho threatened Tae-young so that he would not return to the casino again. Feeling trampled on, Tae-young used Min-ho's identity to fight back. He went to the senior reporter's house, and of course, this old man thought that Tae-young was Min-ho. In this place, Tae-young gathered all the information so that he could return to his real life. In another place, Min-ho brought the Russian mafia's man to Won-jun to free Yoo-wha. After finding out the name of the mafia boss, Won-jun immediately killed him. Besides, Won-jun started to be suspicious of Tae-young's behavior, which was quite different. Min-ho then met his lawyer who had just bought him a gun. He also asked the lawyer to hire a personal bodyguard for him. He did all this because lately he often felt threatened, especially by Won-jun with his unpredictable movement. On the other hand, Tae-young was remembering his dark past when his girlfriend died. Unexpectedly, it turns out that the person who killed that woman was Tae-young himself. In the past, Tae-young witnessed his girlfriend cheating on him with a man who had a tattoo on his neck. However, the man managed to escape. Because he was angry, Tae-young lost control and killed his girlfriend. Since then, he decided to get the exact same tattoo on his neck so that he could always remember that man. After that, Tae-young called Won-jun, asking him to meet. Here, Tae-young said that Min-ho stole his identity, and to prove his words, Tae-young brought chicken feet. Seeing this, Won-jun believed him because only Tae-young knew Won-jun's favorite food. Besides, Tae-young also told Won-jun that Min-ho was the person who collaborated with the Russian mafia. Won-jun was very angry to hear this, and he felt that he had been played. As a thank you, Won-jun said that Yoo-woo was already in a safe place, looked after by the family doctor. So Tae-young didn't need to worry anymore. Without wasting any more time, Won-jun immediately gathered his men to kill Min-ho and the Russian mafia. Strangely, they couldn't find Min-ho, and at that place, Won-jun and his men only saw Tae-young's business partner who was drunk. Meanwhile, Min-ho was at Dr. Choi's clinic, and he was confused because he saw Yoo-woo there, even though she had been held hostage by Won-jun. Yoo-woo looked sick and couldn't talk. Min-ho asked Dr. Choi for an explanation, and it turned out that all this time, the doctor had been playing with everyone. On the one hand, Dr. Choi was disguising himself as a Russian mafia to help Min-ho get his revenge, but on the other hand, he was also disguised as Won-jun's family's doctor. Not only that, Dr. Choi also said that Min-ho wasn't actually real. He was just another personality from Tae-young, which means Tae-young never recovered from his bipolar disorder. During the therapy, Dr. Choi deliberately manipulated Tae-young's mind so that he couldn't differentiate between reality and hallucination. So basically, no one has ever imitated Tae-young's face, because since experiencing multiple personality disorder, it has damaged Tae-young's true memory. After telling this, Dr. Choi chose to go, leaving Tae-young in confusion. But Tae-young didn't want to get lost in sadness, because he had to immediately save Yoo-woo. Here, Tae-young realized that Dr. Choi had injected Yoo-woo with a high dose of drugs. So she didn't overdose. Tae-young put Yoo-woo's body into the water, but unfortunately, she couldn't be saved. With a confused mind, Tae-young went back to the casino, but Dr. Choi was also there. The doctor then took the suitcase containing the gambling chips. In this scene, it was finally revealed that Dr. Choi did it on purpose, manipulating Tae-young's mind so that he could take control of Tae-young's property. At the same time, Won-jun and his men raided the casino, intending to kill Min-ho, who actually never existed. Suddenly, the casino became chaotic. In the riot, Tae-young managed to kill Dr. Choi, and after this incident, he hallucinated again. In his subconscious, his two personalities seemed to be killing each other. Here, Tae-young tried to take over his body, but Min-ho continued to hinder, and in the end, they fought each other till one of them lost. At the end of the story, the figure of Min-ho realized if he was just a second personality, then chose to leave. After Min-ho left, Tae-young recovered from his multiple personality disorder. The end.